right, mate. Let's go, bro.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, let's do this.
Talk real life.
Let's do this, mate.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Talks with Papa, where we have, the healthiest conversations, where men can sit down, chop it off, just be real, be honest, be vulnerable, be intimate, hold space for one another. That's really what this platform is about. And today we're chopping it up with my brother, my friend, one of my oldest friend, Mr. Kweju Adeosi, aka Kweju A. So yes, let's, enjoy this wonderful episode. So PJ, we're going to dive right into it.
Come on.
I know that we haven't been in touch for so long. We haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking today about you and, your journey leading up to this moment, which again, I'm so grateful that you're here, grateful that you're sharing this with me and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But again, it's the timing is very, it's important that we're doing this now, that we're having this conversation, know. So I guess the first question would be like, what was your childhood like? Like what was your childhood like? How was that for you growing up?
Oof. Straight into it, no mercy.
Do we need tissue already?
No, it's not that bad. My childhood was quite bittersweet. My life started when I was 7. My mom passed away when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
And my dad was never there. And then I lived with aunties. And then, I had a lot of cousins around. And then, it was just, it was quite dysfunctional. But, that is the foundation of who I am today. That's everything that's made me what I am today. Never really had too much intimacy. It's quite a very closed system for me. Never got to really express myself. And then me being the last, my actual blood siblings, one is 9 years older than me and the other one is 10. So there was a lot of respect. I never really got to express myself and say too much.
Is it like your big brother?
Yeah, and then, my brother was 17 when my mom passed and my sister was 16. So they were just very young, like adults trying to understand life. So there was little they could do for me as well. We were all in the same situation. But, I wouldn't change anything.
So your mom passed when you were 7.
Yeah.
And before then, I'm assuming your mom, your brother and sister, you guys all lived together.
Yes, we
Was
did.
your dad ever in the picture?
Not in my picture. My brother and sister, yes.
Maybe.
He left when they were about 11, 12.
So did you get to meet him?
So I see, so I hear. I was a baby. We all lived in London. And then my dad got a job, I think in Sierra Leone. And then we all moved back to Sierra Leone. And then that's when it started getting rocky. That's the story I heard. And then my mom moved back to Nigeria to go and be with family. She couldn't handle it anymore. So it was the 3 of us and my mom. And then, we lived in Nigeria. And I never seen my dad. I heard he came around when I was a toddler, when I was like 2, 3. Tried to make things happen. Apparently, because we're close now, my dad and I are quite close. He said he tried to make it work, tried to convince my mom to move to the States with him and all of us, but she wasn't buying it. I think she was quite comfortable in Nigeria. Also, she wanted to be around family and stuff. And, he chose himself.
So your mother passing, was she sick? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, asthma attack.
She had an asthma attack.
Yeah, I remember it vividly because it was just both of us at home. And one of the few things that bonded us was asthma because I was the only child that had asthma. So in the middle of the night, we used to use our inhalers together, go to the hospitals together. And that day she had a really bad attack. And I was really young, I was 7. I didn't know what to do. And then we had a neighbor who was a doctor. So she told me, go and call this person for me. And then I went, and then I came back. And then I have like very vague memories of what actually happened. But as a kid, they keep telling you, go and play with your toys, go and. But I knew a lot was going on. And then what I can remember the most was when they rushed her to the hospital. I was just there saying to myself, she's not coming back. I knew like she just wasn't coming back. That day was really bad. Like I remember there was heavy rain. I've never seen rain like that in my life. It was raining, like the roof was shaking in the house. A lot was it just wasn't right that day. And that was the last time I seen my mom alive.
That's absolutely crazy. I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow. And obviously being so young, do you feel like you grieve?
You know what's so funny about this situation? Because of the way everything happened and because of the way everyone around me handled it, it didn't register at that time in my life because they just take sweets, let's go out, let's go and play, let's go. And then 3 years later, 4 years later, when I was like 10, 11, I just sat down one day and I was just like, where's my mom? Like, where's my mom? And then, I just started thinking about it. I was like, oh, she's dead. She's never coming back. And, like I said, it was a very closed system, so I didn't get any opportunity to express myself. And nobody ever really took time to explain anything to me, so I just had to learn to live with it, like just move on.
That's crazy.
That's what it was.
Crazy. And obviously at this time, you guys obviously had to like live with family members, I'm assuming. And your dad still wasn't in the picture, of course.
No, he tried. So he says he tried, and he says my aunties and stuff weren't too keen on letting us go, but still not enough though. But now that I'm a man, I'm a dad myself. I understand it is what it is.
Yeah. So would you say that you have like daddy issues?
Yes, I do.
And how does that?
I do because now that I'm a father, I understand that having not even just a father, a dominant male figure in your life is very important as a man because it shapes you into who you're supposed to be. Like, there's so many things about me that I don't know still. I don't know, like, now that we started talking, he says some things and then, just like my style. And he'll just be like, wow, like, this is exactly like what I like to wear. Like, and then I'm looking like, oh, this is why I like to do these things. This is how my dad was, It was very random. We're talking one time and I said something about lions and eagles. And he was like, wow, those are my favorite animals. And I was like,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's just, apart from that, like, I don't really trust people. I can love people, but I don't really trust people. Growing up, I had to learn how to be a man by myself, puberty and everything. Nobody really took me through that. Women, love, all that kind of stuff. Wisdom, most of the wisdom I have is from my mistakes. Nobody could, like, nobody.
I thought you say from me.
No. Nobody ever told me, like, don't do this, don't do that, And then, it's just daddy issues. Like,
that's crazy. I mean, it's beautiful that you are able to like recognize and you know how it affects you. Because as men, it's very important, like you said, to have that dominant figure, that father presence in the child's life. Helps you navigate. But again, it's funny that you also say, speaking with your father, and like all the similarities, because you come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's, you know what I mean? It only makes sense that there's certain things about your father that you possess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So again, like at this age now, you're kind of going into like teenage Akbeju.
Yeah.
Like you're finding yourself, and like I guess secondary school and all of that. So like once you started to, how was that again? Like from again being the 7-year-old Akbeju to like mom now not in the picture, father not in the picture. living with family members, with your siblings, and all of that transition. Now you're a teenager, you're experimenting with things.
Yeah.
How did that? How were you able to navigate through that phase of your life?
So I grew up in a house with a lot of teenagers. Because the next person after me was 4 years older. So let's just say when I was 13, next person was 16, 17. And then they, at that point in their lives, they were just finding out, like, my family was quite dysfunctional. So a lot of my cousins still didn't have their dads present. And then my auntie, my guardian, she was taking care of her 4 kids and me and my siblings. So that was 7 of us. Single mom. She tried her best, tried to put us in the best schools. I never remember a day we slept without light. There was always light,
So you went to private school?
Yes.
Because that's the thing in Nigeria.
At my secondary school. I went to a private school for the first part. And then, it was an okay life. But for me personally, maybe my siblings as well, we never got that deep connection where I could come back and just talk about, there's this girl at school, that kind of stuff. So I was very to myself. And, my brother at that point was in uni, so he wasn't around too much. My sister as well. So I was mostly to myself. So being around these teenagers, I just used to just watch and copy, Used to watch about, I'm sorry to cast everybody, but I used to watch how they used to bring babes to the house. I used to watch how guys used to come and see my cousins, my sisters and stuff. And I just started picking up little stuff from there. In terms of my personal experience, oh my gosh, there used to be a lot of porn around the house. And then, that's literally how I found out about sex. I never had a conversation.
No sex education?
No, nothing. Never, even in school, we just did biology. We just knew about the male and female reproductive, what's it called, reproductive system. But we never knew, I never knew, a man and a woman come together. And I just found out through porn. I was like, oh, this is what they do. And then,
So you went in trying to be a porn star, basically?
To be honest, in another life, I would have probably become a porn star. But yeah, that's how I gathered. Obviously, I've seen a lot of stuff as well. Me being the last, sometimes they'll say I should hold the door. I would be the one that would, cover things up and all of that because I was so young and innocent and anything I said was right. But I just gathered little fragments from here and there, and I just made it into my own philosophy of life.
So thinking back, did you think that you had too much exposure and not that much guardians?
Yes, I did. It was too much because like I said, everybody was just figuring out life as they went. They to themselves. They were I don't think, maybe they did, but I don't think they ever had that kind of...
Right, because technically, you weren't their responsibility.
No, yeah, one of my cousins lost her virginity at 14. And that was only because there was no male figure around. She didn't know better. We had too much freedom. It was just the mom, and she was always at work. She's very busy, very hardworking woman. She had to somehow, feed everybody.
Yeah.
And, I just, in all of it, I never thought too much of it. I just thought it was normal. These are my senior brothers and sisters. This is what they're doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Even with the promoting and nightlife and all of that, that's how it came about because, them being so popular and socialites, they always had the parties, get-togethers and stuff. So
you had the cool friends.
It just came so naturally, and that's how And I'm sure when I got into school and stuff, it was just very easy for me to just, So
can we talk about how we met?
Do you remember?
I think I do. I think we had seen each other at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
My godmother, who was a judge, and your aunties obviously were both judges. So I think they had invited us for a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And I just saw you just walking around. Yeah, I knew you wanted to be my friend.
Yeah, I could relate.
Yeah, I knew that you wanted to be my friend. But I mean, I think we like talked a bit. At
Yeah,
the
just to
party.
cut you short. Now you can see what I was saying about the parties. Why it was so easy for me to become a promoter.
Yeah,
Yeah, we always had those Christmas parties. We never played with them. And then if you remember, you could see I was alone.
yeah.
I was very alone.
And that's crazy. That
I was
you actually
very
said
alone that day.
In spite of all that chaos and because your family is really big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that like loner.
I was always by myself.
Yeah, even though
so
I
as soon
didn't
as I
really
seen
understand at
you,
the time.
I think you asked me for like toilets or something.
Yeah,
So then I took you in, you used the toilet, and then you came out, and then we just very briefly spoke. Oh, okay, you're here with Olumide, and okay, cool. And that was that. And then a couple of weeks later,
I see my school.
Yeah, so at that point, I just repeated in my old school.
Ludo.
Redeemers, I had repeated, and then
So you were asked to repeat the class, and
I was asked to repeat. I actually started. I started the
term again.
Yeah, and then I entered some trouble, some real big
Wow.
trouble, and then they pulled me out. They were like,
And they thought to come to military
they're like,
school.
this guy needs strong hand. This one, this place, they are petting you too much.
crazy
so they brought
boy.
me to military school. And I can remember it was a real culture shock for me because I was a real Ajabota then.
Yeah.
And to just come to a military school, I can remember the first day. I can remember I was just in my class. After the morning, everything, I was already late, already knelt down, they had already flogged me, everything. I was just standing. I just went near the gate. And the car was going out. I just ran.
Ran out of the school.
I just ran out of the school.
And so for those who don't know, this is command.
Command.
So this is command in Nigeria is a military school.
Military school.
So they have brought you to this military school because in your private school you were acting crazy.
Yeah, I was running.
And they knew that you needed discipline.
they needed. So
and no
they
better
thought-
place for anyone who's watching who went to school in Nigeria. If you go to either command, Air Force, or I think Navy,
Yeah, finished.
yeah, you're dead. like you literally you live by the cane.
Oh my
You know,
gosh. So
yeah.
they thought that it was good for me, but I ran out. I remember I went home and my brother was at home that day. And I just broke down. I was like, bro, I'm not going back. I want to run away and this. And I remember the conversation he gave me that day. It was just like, bro, these are the only people taking care of us. Where are you going to run to? Who do you think I'm the one that's going to take care of you? Like, you barely have nobody as it is. You now want to run away. So you want to become a bus conductor, or what do you want to do? And, I just realized that, I just have to toughen up.
Right.
So I remember I came back,
Sorry to cut you off. Did you then know? Because obviously you didn't want to go to the school, but were you aware that it was your doing?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, like
Yes,
you
I
had
did.
fucked up. Excuse
Yes,
my
I
French.
did. Yes, I did. So
find
let me
yourself in
just, real quick, just to clarify the issue. What happened was, I was doing very well in the school. I was the class captain. I started to pass, started doing very well. I was like top 5 in the class.
For those who don't know, also, Kwej is actually an academia. Yeah, he's a lot. Yeah, for those who don't know, like, trust me. But yeah, sorry, go on.
So, I was doing very well. But then we went to an excursion to the Ribena factory. And then we done the whole excursion. And then he put us in this room with like unlimited supply of Ribena and Lucozade. And they were like, we should drink as much as we can, but we can't take any. They were like, it's unlabeled, so that's the reason why we can't take any else. And all of us were all looking at, are they joking? Like, we should not take, like, I can remember it was me and like 2 of my mates. And we had like 3 cartons. And in each carton is like 24. We should not take. So everybody was just putting in their socks, putting in their, pockets and whatever. So I remember there was one junior, those junior students that just like to tell. So that one just seen me in the process. I just went to quietly whisper to one of the teachers. So when we were all going out, about to go on the bus, the guy just said, stop. Just said, I fear some of you have taken some of this. I don't know, trying to make himself look good in front of everyone. And I was the scapegoat, and he just said, Pedro, come here. And the guy just checked my pockets, and then he seen like 2. And then that was that. And what now even made it worse was on the bus when we're going. The guy now caught me drinking, drinking and arriving as well. So got to school and then it was a big issue. Now this is where it was tricky. So the whole trouble happened. I didn't tell anyone at home. They flogged me on assembly, gave me 12 strokes on my back.
Once of everyone.
In front of everyone. I can remember that day I didn't move. At this point, I'd already become
A rebel.
baddest. So gave me the 12 strokes. After the guy finished flogging me, I did. The old school gave me standing ovation. So I went home. I couldn't sleep on my back for like a month. So I didn't tell anyone. I told you, I never used to express myself. I never used to tell anybody anything. And then one day I forgot. And then I wasn't wearing my shirt. My brother just walked into the room and he saw my back. And the guy just lost it. Like, what? Like, who is the person? And I kept begging him, no, like, please don't say anything. Don't say anything. And he was like, was it your school? Was it like, who was the teacher? Like, was it your school? And then I think he went to meet my aunties and then, and then they all came to school, came and then scattered the whole place. And they were like, I'm pulling him out, like we're leaving. Like, why would you flog a child like this? What did he do? Did he kill someone? Like, what is it? Like, and then, they just said, okay, we're pulling him out. So obviously at that point, they were like, okay, you're a bad man now, Abi. Okay, you want to be a bad man. It's like you like being a goat. So that's how I ended up in
command. Thank God you ended up in command.
Bro.
This probably wouldn't be happening if you didn't end up in
probably won't be. We would have probably known each other, but we won't be this close.
So obviously by this time we obviously knew each other.
Yeah.
Our friendship had started, and obviously one thing about you, for anybody who knows you and people who don't, is I think you're a very peculiar person. You're very different. Like, you make everybody happy. It's just laughter with you. Even me sitting here, I'm trying not to laugh. It's just laughter with you. Like, you're such a carefree person. And obviously, I think that is one of the things that we kind of bonded on, your sense of humor, your sarcasm. And also, like, in terms of our, like, social life, it was also very similar growing up. We knew the same kind of people outside school. So we're able to take that out of
fashion.
Yeah, and also fashion. Our sense of
Music.
style. So we've moved past all of this. I guess we finished school, and I know that when you after secondary school you went to Babcock University, and was it whilst you were in Babcock that you started work? Like, just tell us through your whole process with like nightlife, music, working with Maven Records.
Okay.
How was that?
Maven, Don J, God bless you, my God. Anyway, so before I went to Babcock, as soon as we all graduated, the plan was I was meant to come to JAND. But for some reason, like it was never a topic. Nobody ever like IGCSEs, and like I was meant to go to Oxbridge, but there was never a conversation. And I just wanted to be free at that point. I had left school, I had gotten some freedom, I'm a man now. I just wanted to have fun. I had started driving, I started braiding my hair. I just wanted to have fun. So I didn't even remind anyone. I didn't put pressure on anyone. And, first year went by and I was like, oh, all my mates are already going to year 2. So I was like, okay, let's try Unilag. I was like, okay, all my friends are in Unilag. I think you were in Unilag then at that point. So I tried that one as well. And then I think my jam was too low. My score was too low.
I guess you're in Lodo.
I think I got like education in economics or something.
Yeah, I actually got education in English.
Yeah, and then, everybody was like, no, like, are you going to become a teacher? Even I wasn't interested. And then I just realized another year had gone and I wasn't in school. And, I think that's when it dawned on me, like, bro, like, what are you doing? So I tried to go to APTI, like it was some North American university, Atiku Abubakar University. And that actually went through, but I think at that point the fees were ridiculous. They're like, it's almost similar to you going abroad. and it just started becoming an issue again. So I remember I had a couple of friends that were in Babcock already. So one day when they all came for the weekend, I went back with them, and then I bought the form, paid for the exam with my money, did the exam, passed, and then I came back. I said, okay, this is where I like to go. This is the kind of course. This is the course I want to study and all of that. And then I went in, but it was like I said, it was most of my life I was always on my own. Like they would obviously give me pocket money I needed for school. But me being me being a normal boy, like that first week is already gone. Like, and I'm just there stranded. I can't call anybody for money. I can't do anything. So used to come back home a lot every weekend. And obviously, like, because of my cousins, because of my social circle, I knew a lot of people. So every time I went to the club with my friends, I always knew all the celebrities. I always knew everybody, not too long. Like Asa and I were like the youngest back then, not too long. We bonded. Met people like ABK, very easy to access. People like Wande, Netosi, all of that, Ikechuku, the band, all of that. So I remember it was Lolu Rehab came one day, and then he was like, like you always have a lot of crowd around you. You always you're very lively, you can dance. You could be making money, right? I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, come and work for me, come and do this night. Asa ABK and Deomi Bankhead were doing a night, and then he joined all of us together. I think it was Saturday or so. And then I started making some money, started getting free drinks, started getting a lot of relevance and popularity. And
because I don't think I ever bought drink. I don't remember ever buying alcohol.
Yo, my table.
I was always on Goodie's time.
What are you talking about, mate? And then from there, I just seen the business in it. And then that little 100K, 150K I was making every week was actually a lot of money back then.
Right.
Really made my life in school very comfortable. And I'm somebody that's quite passionate. When I see something that's working for me, I do it in my chest. So I took it very serious. And then I seen that, this nightlife is something that, I'm actually very good at. Like you said, my character, I like to make everyone happy. I like to make everyone feel good. So, I took it on. And that's how I took care of myself, my whole uni days. And then towards the end, I like to say thank you because you got me that job. Yeah, even though it was Don Jazzy as well, I know that you were involved. I can remember. I got a job with Maven. That's when he literally just left Mohit and then started Maven. It was just me, you, Bizo, Femi, the producers, Tega, all teams, basically James, the Prince, in his bedroom. That was the office. And then we started Maven, and I was the public relations officer. And then, I was doing that. It was very convenient for me because no wahala. I could do that and do my nightlife as well. And also being a public relations officer, a lot of my work was in the clubs, radios, events, pushing Maven music, all of that, club activations and all of that. So it was very convenient for me.
So at this time, your like entertainment company was already an actual company.
Yeah, I remember Sin City Lagos. I had to eventually register a company. I needed a brand, and then I started doing nights at what's it called, Vapors. It was the name before Vapors. It was Sin City Saturdays, and then I used to do it, and it became the biggest thing in Lagos on a Saturday. And, I just saw that, okay, this thing is actually getting serious now. So I started doing like one-offs, like events. I started doing another night at Escape. That was good as well. Then Shinopella came with Quillox. And then we started Thursdays. ABK and I, we came together.
And this was beyond the night.
We on the night. My brother ABK. I love you, bro. We came together. We started We Own the Nights. So we started WTN, We Own the Nights. And that was Thursdays. Um, It originally started at, I've forgotten what it's called, but it was, what's his name? Tola Storm. I've forgotten his name. But it was his club.
What to see?
Odunsi, yes. It was his club we started, and then we moved, not too long after, we moved to Quillox.
And this time you're still in uni. At this, like all of this time,
This was the end. This was like my final year of uni.
Okay.
So we now moved to
So let's say
Quillox.
this now is like your 4 years. From the start
Yes.
to
So
the
yeah,
end
this
of
was
uni.
towards the end of my all this happened my last year when I was about to leave.
yeah, like the success of the.
So yeah, we
nightlife.
started WTN at Quillox. It was originally We owned Thursday nights. But then when we left Quillox, we said, okay, we need to make this thing sound more formal. So we just changed Thursday to D. So it became We Own the Night. So we said, okay, we own the night. We don't only have to do Thursdays. We can do other stuff.
Any other day.
So yeah, I had that, and then I was doing my Maven as well. Then I graduated. I remember you guys all came to my grad.
Yeah.
That was the first time my whole family
Was ever gathered.
had ever come to my school. Like nobody knew. Like I don't remember, but I kept telling you, I'm sure they don't think I've graduated. I think they were just coming to see
If it was true.
if it was true. So they all came. Don Jazzy, if I could prostrate here now, I would prostrate. Don Jazzy came to my graduation. The whole school scattered. Like that very act in itself is still the relevance I have today. The only time Don Jazzy came to Babcock was for Pedro's graduation. Came, you guys all came. I remember the convoy. We rode deep.
Crazy.
Crazy.
It was crazy because we left so early.
Everybody, when
come to-
I was looking at, wow, I didn't know I was,
Yeah.
this important.
That's what you call rolling
Asa
deep.
was sleeping. That one was hungover. It was just sleeping.
Yeah, because we had gone out the night before.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But
Asa
again, like
flow.
it was very important that we showed up for you.
Yeah, that was one milestone in my life where I actually knew, okay, I'm actually not alone. People actually want to see me win.
Yeah.
And I remember I was really down because I was short of a 2-1. Like they literally told me, like, if I came back and did another semester, I just go
You were
and
short
see.
of a second class upper.
Yeah, they said if I had gotten a C in the next in any course, I'd have gotten a 2-1.
Yeah.
But I just settled for a 2-2 because 4-year course I'd already done 5 years, and I already knew success was waiting for me because of Maven and nightlife, so I wasn't too bothered. But I remember I was down. But I remember when they mentioned my name for the 2-2, everywhere
It was an anthem.
scattered. Don Jade, everybody was on the screen. You, everybody, Femi.
I remember.
And I was like, okay. And then obviously did a big party for me after, and I felt good for that.
So would you say that was like your first time being actually celebrated?
Yes.
So from 7 till this time, you had never had a
No, I
birthday
never
party?
felt. There was like few times I did like my 10th birthday. I remember when I was 16. My aunt gave me some money. I went out with my brothers. Ate and stuff, but never like just the little things like I love you, son. I never had all of that. I never had any assurance. So that little like.
Did you ever
event
crave
in
these things? Did you like?
Of course.
So people who don't usually get enough love would crave attention.
Of course.
So do you think that like you always being so funny and being this, is this you kind of craving that love that you were lacking?
I'm sure we will get that we'll get into that deeply as we go by. But I realized that I always liked to find the love I wasn't getting at home outside. And it always meant me finding it in the wrong places. Like nightlife, I always somehow thought I found that love there. I was very relevant there. I was very popular. I had a lot of attention there. Led me being with a lot of wrong people, keeping a lot of wrong friends. But I always found it in the wrong places because, first of all, I didn't even know what it meant. Like,
So you're saying you didn't know what love looked like, real love?
first
looked
of all, even like up to now, I'm still struggling with it. I thought love is sex. Because I told you, I learned it through porn. So I just, okay, man and woman, they lie, they love each other. Oh, this is how they express themselves through sex, you know. So
So now, do you know what love is?
through my son, yes. Maybe I still haven't found a woman that will teach me deeply. I think I do.
Why do you think love is just always like? Why do you think love is a man and woman?
Because, well, first of all, I said through, don't, I said through my son, yes, but still, that's through my child.
Yeah.
You know, another thing I would say is because you know I'm alone with him,
Yeah.
there's no third party, even if he's like a co-parent or, you know, an auntie or so. It's just me and him.
Okay.
So, like, I still feel there's that question mark of, like, just a third person being in the picture, even if it's like a friend or something, because obviously I love women.
Yeah.
I cannot take that away from my life. So I just feel, and I just feel I've never had, maybe I have, but I just misused it, but I feel like I've never had real love.
Okay, so
from a
going back
woman.
to the graduation,
Yeah.
that whole soiree was a show of love.
Yeah, it was. It
You
was.
know,
I
by your
felt,
understanding
I
that
felt
day
really
of what,
good.
you know,
Yeah, I
so-
also got a car as well.
yeah.
You know, that was really nice. I got a car.
So if I recall, like after that, you then got a job.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Like,
Okay, so that's where everything just
it
went.
gets-
So at
the
this
story kind
point,
of changes from here on.
first of all,
right?
I'd like to say, Don Jazzy, please, if you are going to open UK branch, Mavin, please, I want my job back. I made a very big mistake. Papa, when I look at Mavin now, I was still talking to Bizu the other day. I was like, Bizu, we messed up. Oh. We should have just stayed. When I look at Mavin now, I was like, what? I'd
what
have
was-
probably been second in command. But
What was it? What was it? Did you feel like you were short-sighted? Is it that you didn't see
No,
the vision,
what happened was,
or you were just all over the place?
let me try and talk about this without saying too much. So I was very happy at my Maven job. I was very happy with the people I was working with, Femi, you, Bizu, Tech Guy, everyone. Like the fact that we could just go to work with t-shirts and shorts and, you know, dress and anyhow we like. I remember my hair was blonde then. You know, I had already got my tattoos. Like I just loved, like, you know, we could, I don't know whether we could smoke in the
Say anything you wanna
office.
say, bro?
We could drink. Like Don J didn't have time to just get things done and make it happen. And then, you know, family just came. Bro, I will never forget that day. I was on my bed, I was sleeping. And then I just got a call, where are you? Come. And then I went. At this point, my aunt, my second mom, had just become like CJ of Lagos State.
And that's the chief judge of Lagos.
Chief Judge of Lagos, and then she was like, okay, there's this job I want you to take. You're going to be my right hand. You're going to be following me everywhere. You're going to be traveling all over the world. When I hear travel all over the world, it's
So they bought you for a plane ticket.
Jesus Christ. Said, you know, you're going to get a car. You're going to do this. I was like, wow. I was like, for the first time in my life, I'm actually being recognized, you know. It's like, okay. You know, this is probably where I will bond. This is where I'll feel like family again. And, you know, it was just too good to be true. I remember that time in Maven, not too long after, we all just applied for visas for the UK, and we all got banned. The three of us got banned, got refused. And I remember that the promoter that was doing the show, no, I didn't even apply. You guys all applied. They left me out of the list. And the promoter said that he came to one of my parties one time and I didn't give him a table. So he
he
doesn't
didn't put
want me
your
to
name.
come.
Imagine, isn't that crazy?
So I felt very, you know, already,
Wow.
I'm already struggling with rejection and abandonment.
yeah.
So that one now came again. So it really set me back that, which kind of life is this? What
did
did I
you do?
do wrong now? You did not book table, you came, you say you're from London, you're big something, big Joe or something like that. Ogbeni, get out, jobs. People have not see Davido and need to see there. You're talking about see YQ. See? So obviously he took that P and then he didn't, but you know, somehow it was a blessing. But then, you know, I really struggle with that, even though I never mentioned it. I never told anyone. It really hurts me. And then obviously when my auntie came with that, you know, obviously I knew, we both knew we're always meant to be here. So, and it never just worked out. It was never a conversation. So when my auntie said you'll be able to travel, that was, I promise you, that was where she won me over.
Then you could travel the world.
Travel, PA to Chief Judge of Lagos. Like when I thought about it, personal assistant to the Chief Judge of Lagos, me with my nightlife. So, I spoke to Don J. I know that it was a very informal conversation. Don J, Omo, this job don't show like this, so now my mama make it not be like say. And I was like, bro, whatever you want to do, I support you. Just let me know what you need from me, and you have my blessings. Even though even that day as I was leaving, I was regretting my decision. But still, I cannot complain because when it was good, it was good. But yeah, I started that job, and it was a shift, a lot, because at this point I was already like the biggest promoter in town. I was going out like five days of the week. I was making a lot of money from there. All my friends, everybody, social like nightlife, DJs, musicians, all that kind of stuff. So I had to make a drastic switch to now waking up early in the morning, going to work, sitting down in civil service. A lot of these people are older people. These are our, talking rubbish. I remember I felt very awkward because I couldn't speak. I struggle with Yoruba a lot, so I couldn't speak. So whenever they are speaking to me, they
Everybody hear your name, just assume that
replying Yoruba. Mommy, Ejo, Yoruba, me or dad. They will start laughing. Yeah, man, now this one. I'm coming from Don Jazzy's studio. You're talking about rice and beans here. So, we started and it moved so quick.
For context, I think that it's very important that you elaborate on the difference because at this point now you're the personal assistant to the chief judge of Lagos. That's like the executive arm, the judicial arm of the state.
That's the third arm.
You know what I mean? So and now you're the personal assistant to
the
person in question.
I remember when the governor used to call. Sometimes he would have to call my phone. Governor back then, Ambode, to speak to her. That's the kind of position I was in. Different, CJ of Lagos, those kind of people. And it was a complete cultural shock because I wasn't that kind of responsibility. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't even have anyone, apart from my brother, that's my rock. And my brother too never had a dad and a mom like that. He had to form his own philosophy by himself, life philosophy. So he taught me what he could know, and a lot of what he knew was street knowledge. So there was nobody that used to just call me and just tell me bro, just, for the future, do this, do that. Nobody even used to call me and pray for me, oh, mommy, my son. So a lot of what I did was just what I was being told.
And there was nobody that you could
I was nobody I could open up to. I tried a few times, but I knew that nobody had my best interest. So I was very wary, and that kind of job is very sensitive. I needed to be careful what I was saying and who I was talking to. So most of it, I never said anything. But, it was a lot of responsibility, governors, senators, statesmen, billionaires, all that kind of people. Everybody is judiciary and Ministry of Justice. Everybody has a court case or something they're trying to settle. But
something legal.
Yeah, I was always the person that would set it up. And, it was very tasking, and it was very stressful for me because I was still very active in the nightlife as well. And a lot of what I was doing was contradicting my position because Thursday nights, that's Lagos is on shutdown. Awolowo Road is blocked, and everybody knows it's because of Peju. And the next morning, I'm in the office. I remember most times I would have to put my suit in the car, and from the club, I would just go to the office, and I would just brush my teeth and wash my face, and just wear my suit and sleep on my desk till everybody comes. And I wake up. Sometimes I don't even sleep at all. I just go with Red Bull and coffee. And, most people have already seen my story.
So at this point, had your life started to change? Because I know you were making money financially from the...
Of course. Obviously, I will not say I was only collecting 40,000, 50,000 as a civil servant.
On paper.
On paper, but you know,
Whether
that
you were
kind
driving
of
an S class.
that I was driving a CLE back then when it just came. I was doing very well. I bought a house. You know, at this point, I'd already been all over the world, literally. I had all the visas, you know, everything. And it came so fast. Like, everything happened in less than a year.
And I also want to say this again. Can we also talk about like this visa thing? Because again, you kind of getting this job
that visa
was because they told you that you could travel.
Bro.
So can you please elaborate for people who don't have any like other nationality, either like a British nationality or American nationality?
Yeah.
What is it like? And I know we're digressing a bit. What is it like being a Nigerian, and what had you faced with your Nigerian passport that made you take this job that afforded you to travel?
You can never experience any type of rejection in this life worse than when they say no. You've been denied
a visa,
because we grew up watching all these things on TV, London, America. And, you know, even though, like, it was worse for me because even for you as well, because we came from a family where everybody is going to Jand and Yankee for summer. Like, we all had our cousins come back for Christmas. Everybody's speaking Fonais, you know. You're seeing pictures, you're seeing snow, and you're the only one that just hasn't been.
Yeah. So like, you seem so close to it, but yet
yeah,
so
that's
far.
it. Like all our friends, like Boyega, Otini, Olushola, everybody, they've gone. They've all gone for holiday. You are just, maybe you're in Ibadan or somewhere. When everybody comes, you are just blowing Fonais. Yeah, I was, yeah.
So would you say that you had that complex?
So yes, I
not
did.
Being able
and
to
then
travel.
I had been denied like twice for a visa. And then, you know, that just being in that position where I got everything, I got in the same year, I got my Schengen visa, I got my UK visa, and I got my American visa same year.
I know you went to Australia or something.
Yeah, I had like other visas, like it was like I got Malaysia, I got Singapore, I had New Zealand, Australia, like minor visas.
So you had access.
So my passport was all star 1 year. Like,
wow.
I'd literally been like around the world in 1 year, and then, you know, came with a lot of money.
There was money, there was access, there was power.
But because I was in the nightlife, I had no control. So a lot of the money I was making was literally like, plus the money and attention I was getting, it was just going in there. So when I was meant to be doing like businesses and investing and doing the right thing,
you weren't quite doing
I was
that.
just buying watches, chains, buying like, I could never repeat an outfit.
Let me ask this: did money change you?
Of course it did, mate. The money, not just the money, the attention, the power, the access, all of that.
And how did you notice the change? How did you notice? What was the difference in like the Kweju that didn't have money?
I started looking down on a lot of my friends. It came in between me and a lot of my friends because, you know, I started moving with the wrong people. Started moving with a lot of Yahoo boys that could keep up with me because
with your lifestyle.
A lot of people thought that was what I was doing anyway because of that life. Because it was fast money. And, you know, those were the people that could match up, driving the same cars, wearing the same watches, the same clothes. We could relate on that level. And, you know, that's how I almost became one of them until they eventually put me in a lot of trouble. And, you know the whole story. And, you know, I eventually lost the job.
And talk to us about that, how you lost the job.
Well, it's a lot of things. A lot of things happen. You know, first of all, you know me, I'm very positive. I don't like to dwell on the what ifs because I know there's no mistakes, there's no coincidences, there's only God's plan. I think it had to happen for me to become this person I am. Because I remember from that job, I was meant to go and work with the governor. Because like one time I went to the governor's office, the governor literally told her, when you've left, I want this boy to come and work for me. Even the next chief judge that was coming was like, when you've left, I want this boy to work for me. So I'll probably still be there. Or God knows, like, I would have probably got drunk. Let's not
go into that.
Let's not go. But anyway, trouble came. I would take a lot of responsibility for that because I was very reckless. I didn't keep that kind of job. You're meant to keep a very quiet life. I meant to, you know, hide, but I was there posting and until I deleted my social media. At that point on Snapchat, I had like 10,000 followers back then. On Instagram, I had like 35,000 followers, and I used to post everything like nightlife, my job, all of that. So it wasn't too hard for EFCC to catch on to me, you know. Like, once you're too flashy, you're a young man making too much money.
And the civil-
The
and the
EFCC
civil
will come
servant.
knocking, civil servant, they came knocking. So it was very random because, you know, I had this account. That was my operations account, like my everyday account, nightlife account, everything. And it got frozen. And, you know, I just went to the bank one day. It was like, why is my app not working? And they were like, oh, it's been blocked. I was like, why who did like EFCC? And I was like, why? With so much confidence, why? They're like, I should go there and clarify it. Once I clarify it, I'll come back. Jesus Christ. I'm supposed to talk all this. Anyway, I got there, and then, you know, immediately I got there, they just see me. They just told me to sit down. They said they've been out to me for a while. They've been watching me, know who I am, they know who I work for. Said they're not after me. Said they're after who I work for. First of all, I need to give those guys props. They know
EFCC.
they know their job. They're very good. You know. I wish I was this person I am now. But unfortunately I was not. But they said they're not after me. Said they've seen me, you're a very young man, very enterprising. You have the whole world ahead of you. Just cooperate and tell us what we need to hear. I don't think there was ever a bigger trouble that I can experience. Like, I just sat down there, I was looking this is the FCC. Already hearing channels, AIT, this is a senior case. Hey! And now, ideally, this is where I always think back and sometimes regret. I should have just gone to speak to my boss straight.
Yes, or ask a lawyer.
I just prostrate. I spoke to a few lawyers, but they were almost telling me the same thing, you know. But
So when you walked into the EFCC, they didn't arrest you?
No.
Okay.
I was going there every day for like 1 week.
No, I'm saying when you went in there the first time from
No,
the bank.
they were waiting for me.
Okay, so they didn't detain you or
They
anything?
didn't detain me.
Okay.
So as soon as...
So, and all that, you didn't tell your auntie that you worked
No,
with
I
that?
didn't tell no one. I only spoke to like people I trusted. I thought I trusted. And then, you know, I just regret that I didn't go and just prostrate and lie down.
Do you know why you didn't do that?
A lot of reasons why was because, one, I knew that it was me that caused it.
Because of your lifestyle?
She had told me, she had warned me, you're too flashy. The way you dress, the way you're too flashy, you're too flashy. She always complained. Apart from that, I knew my hands were not clean as well. There's so many things I didn't want her to know that I was doing. So all that, and the fear of just, I've let everyone down, the fear of like, I was also thinking about myself. I was very selfish with that because, you know, I just wanted to remove my hands, just clean my hands and just go and leave her for, you know, the alligators. But eventually I said what I said, did what I did, and it backfired a lot. I got detained.
You were arrested?
I got arrested. I was detained for a week. Do you know what's so funny? She's still the same person that got me out. That's life.
She got you out.
Still got me out. Why didn't I just talk anything? Found out everything I said, everything I had done. Like, bro, it's really bad till today. I still don't know. I haven't heard.
You don't have a relationship
It's
with
not
her?
the relationship is destroyed. You know. Well, God is above. God, there's nothing God can't fix. But it all went south. You know, and that's when, you know, my life changed because
How so?
It changed because overnight I lost everything. Like, once they froze all my accounts.
And just
Seconds, it was like, you know, like, first of
all. And
all,
at this point, how much were you worth?
I was a lot of money, bruv.
Just give us like a ballpark figure.
At least in cash, like 100 M.
In cash?
100 M back then is like almost...
Cash was available in your accounts.
That's what, okay, my accounts, maybe like 70, 80 M.
And how old were you at the time?
20, 26, 27. And then
You had houses, you had
yeah,
cars.
gosh, I had my own safe, bro. I had my own safe. All kinds of currency in there. Or in a matter of seconds, weeks,
Everything had gone.
days gone. Froze all my accounts, took my car. I had 3 cars. One was official. They took the official car back. The Benz got seized. The other one I had given someone. That one I crashed it or something. So I now had no car. The house I had bought, gone. All my money, gone. So at this point, my relevance that my image that I really held on to, my PA, civil servant gone. And, even till tomorrow, I still don't realize how much it really affected me. It really messed me up bad because of my nightlife, I couldn't really express what it had done to me. I had to keep going because that was the only thing that was working.
Why did you feel like you had to keep going?
I had to keep up because at that point I realized it's only this nightlife I have, and this is the image I've created. So I had to stay strong. I didn't want to look like a weakling. I didn't want to look broke.
I understand that. I'm saying, like all of this happening to you.
Yeah.
So they arrest you. You were detained for a week plus, and you come out. They're taking everything that you had, and you come out. Let's say you come out on a Friday. Did you go out that same day?
I came out. Okay, they detained me on a Thursday. WTM. They released me on a Thursday. I went out that night.
Oh.
So everybody was just like, but you were apart from like Flo and my people like ABK that knew what really happened. I was sick. Everybody had already covered up for me as well. He was sick or something. I was just like, I'm back, So nobody knew what was really, because I was literally the life of the party. And then, me, I was more about the event and the setup, the DJs, all of that. ABK was just more about the payments and stuff. That was the accountant. So I had to come back and handle things because it was already too much for him. And I just, nightlife, nobody really talks about it. Everybody is looking good. Everybody's fancy. Everybody is chilling. And I just continued, but I was dying inside a lot. I was really overwhelmed from driving, latest CLA.
How did you go to the club this day without
I started using Uber. Sometimes I would drop like 2 buildings before.
And walk to the club. So you feel like you still had to keep up?
I had to now. The swag was still there. I still had the Rolexes. I still had the watches, the chains, everything. The baths were still there.
Why couldn't you just travel?
Yeah, see, my passport, bruv.
So this passport that had all the
My
visas.
star-studded passport
with all the visas
gone.
Oh my God.
I didn't even think, for a long time, I didn't think I could get another passport. If I had known then, I would have just quietly gone to get another one. The remaining money I had, I would have just carried everything and left. But I thought somehow maybe I was on a blacklist or something. So I never went for a long time. I never tried to get another passport. I kept waiting for that one because I knew if I wanted to renew any of my visas, it would be so easy. But yeah, I just lost everything and I still had to keep on. I still had to be going out. And, I just started falling into the dark web of nightlife. I had never, weed. I'd never, loved, I grew up around weed everywhere. I remember I even used to keep it from my siblings and stuff. I always looked at Igbo. Indian hemp. Me, never. If I started smoking it.
So this was part of your coping mechanism?
Yes.
You started smoking weed?
Smoking weed. It was my...
And I know that you drank before, but...
I was drinking, but because I was very responsible about it as well, because, my jobs.
You had to be sane.
And also because of my, the nightlife. I always try to make sure I was just okay. So I know what's happening. I needed to be focused. But, at this point, I just gave up. I just started drinking anyhow, started smoking. Because at this point, I had no responsibility anymore. I didn't need to be accountable. I wasn't waking up early in the morning to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then, I just started, doing too much, started drinking. Not too long after, I started doing Molly, started doing X. And, from there.
So at this point, you then meet a young lady.
Yeah. One of those people that, just stand out as a promoter, that these people, like every Christmas, I just got back. She was American. And then, she just started popping up a few times, I liked her. I liked her like on the eye. She was very easy on the eye. I liked the way she carried herself.
She was a baddie.
She was a baddie. She actually been with a couple of my friends. She had been with my best mates, my partner at that time, ABK.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't anything serious. And then, at this time I was the man. So one time when she had gone back, we started chatting and, it started getting serious. And I remember I flew her out. Yeah, she came back. I flew her out and then she came back. And then the minutes we saw, like, it was one of those relationships where we didn't need to talk. As soon as we seen each other, and from the very first day we walked out, it was just like Jay-Z and Beyonce, because we had very similar interests. She was interested in events and nightlife. She was about that life. She knows like the business. Yeah, she was out there, and then me being me. And I was thinking at this point, about the bigger picture of nightlife. So she really complimented me, and
then you guys are dating, and obviously you guys start doing drugs.
Yes.
What drugs were you guys?
So at this point, I was already doing my Molly and X normally and smoking my weed. And then she was heavy on crack. And, at first, first of all, like when we used to talk about drugs, crack was never really a topic. It was always cocaine. Cocaine! Ha! Igbo! Crack was never, so I never really was. I've seen a couple of pipes here and there, but I never like got to understand crack in itself. So anyway, we started dating, and then I remember some drunk nights, like she just brought a pipe, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And she was like, it's crack, like it's nothing, like. And then she's done it, and then those few times, like, nope, never. But there was I remember the first time, it was one very drunk night, she done it. And then she turned to me, and then she blew in my face, like we kissed, and then like, wow, this thing is not bad though, the next day happened. But I really got on it one time. It was a long weekend. I think it was Easter, so there was no Friday and there was no Monday, so it was public holidays, and I had a really bad toothache. Like I was dying, like I was going out, and I had toothache in the club. So the whole time I was complaining my tooth. So that night we got back, and she was like, this thing will make your mouth numb. Like,
it seemed like she was really advocating for crack.
It was her appeal.
So she really wanted you guys to kind
because
of
at that
together.
point she used to do it with someone, and then the minute I got in the picture, they were not close anymore.
She wanted to share that experience with you.
She just she just somehow. She had mentioned it a couple of times, like she just wanted to do it with someone she loved, just bond us, It helped our braps as well, so.
It helped your sex.
Bro, that's why I like doing it, though. So they break like this, 8 o'clock, we'll still be giving each other.
So at this point, is it safe to say you became a crack addict?
Yes, I was. I was a crackhead.
Oh.
So she eventually said it'll make your mouth numb. And indeed, I took it, and immediately the toothache went. And then I remember that whole weekend. I just, every time the pain will come back times 10, I'll just do, and then. But I didn't know that, that high only lasts for like 10 minutes.
So you wanted it more?
So
you're spending more money trying to get high.
Bro, and then it's not like weed or like Coke where you can buy some for like 3-4 days. And it's like this one, like in 30 minutes, like 50K has gone.
So shot high.
And now I'm doing it with someone I love and I trust. We live together. We had moved in together at this point, so we lived together. So both of us used to be vulnerable. Like we would be there drooling on the floor, like holding each other, so it got really bad. I stopped eating. Like
Lost
never
weight.
used to drink champagne. I started drinking. I stopped drinking. I started drinking anyhow. I stopped eating. I stopped caring about my parents. My lips were burnt. I was losing weight. I would go out, like I would start doing the most, losing myself, you know. But because, I believe that, my woman was beside me and it was our opinion that mattered the most.
And this whole time, you still thought that she was the one for you.
Yes, I did because, in those desperate times, those really bad times, like when we were high, we would express ourselves. And she would start opening about her past and her traumas and stuff. And it just really made me like more compassionate for her and her situation.
So is it safe to say that you guys were trauma bonding?
Yes. She was going through a lot. At this point, she had a case that she was
A legal case in
running
America.
away from. At this point, I was still recovering from my EFCC. And,
So you guys were like convicts.
we felt good.
It's giving convicts.
Yeah,
judges.
like together we felt good. Like
Yeah.
we could escape our realities together. We
Yeah.
could escape our traumas and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So and then months in, she gets pregnant, and
Yeah.
how did that happen?
Eventually, we had like 2 or 3 miscarriages. So like this time around, when she said she's pregnant again, in my mind I was probably like, oh, this one that was still smoke now, everything will come out. So but this one, and that's why we chose his name. This was even at the peak of our drug use. I went that whole time, 9 months, I kept praying, God, please, this boy must not come out with one leg. He must not come, because I thought she would have smoked his eyes away because this was the peak of our drug use. Like it was really bad. Like we had already started dreaming about rehab. Like this is when I started selling stuff.
Buy drugs.
Buy drugs, like just started begging for money just so I could put lights in the house and stuff. And then, she's pregnant and baby's healthy. And it's not going anywhere. We're having this baby.
Was abortion ever an option?
No, it wasn't, because it was already too late. She didn't know till like 4 months. And then when we went to the hospital, like when we saw the scan, his face was already complete. The way his heart was beating, it's not a abortion. So, at this point, it was a reality check for both of us. She had a case in America, and her plan was to never go back. So at this point, I told her, see, you have to go back home. You're not having this child in Nigeria. We can't even afford to have this child here. You have to go back to America. You're not going to give birth to my child in Nigeria. So you have to go back. So you do know that, I have a case. Stuff could happen. I said, I don't mind. I'll wait for you. No matter what happens. Wait for you when you come back out. We'll continue as a family. And then, she goes back. She has the child. And not long after, got some time.
So she she has the baby in America. Obviously, you're in Nigeria still. Yeah. And then she goes to jail.
Yeah.
And where are you at the time, and where's the baby?
So, as of the time I knew trouble was coming.
For her,
I was still in Nigeria. I tried to apply for my American visa 3 times and I got denied. It was very weird because I've already had 2 American visas. But now I'm trying to go. But I think somehow because they seen that I have a wife and a son in America, they know that the odds of me coming back weren't too great. So I got denied 3 times. And it really, because now I missed his birth. I missed his first birthday. I'm already running mad. My son is already growing up without me. And me not having a dad in my life. I knew, I'm already failing. It's a generational curse. So I eventually just said, let me just go to, I had a Jan visa then. I had a UK visa then. Yeah, and I was just like, let me just go to the UK. At least it'll be easier for me to see my son there. It'll be easier for them to come and visit me. So I came here. I had no plan. Didn't know what I was doing, but I just said, I know trouble is coming. I know that it'll be easier for me to raise my son here, because at this point, the way everything went along, the relationship I had with her, even when we did the court registry, the child, I didn't tell family. Nobody was involved. Like, it was me and her against the world. So even her family, I didn't know. Like, it was just me, her, and this child. So I knew that raising that child here in Nigeria is not going to work,
You had no
especially with my
support.
whole mess up with the EFCC.
Yeah.
I knew that I'm on my own. So I said, I'd rather just do it in Jan, where I know there's a system that works, than do it in this Nigeria. That I'm not going to do that to my son. So I moved to the UK, and about 6 months after, got the jail time. And, obviously, we're not going to give him to social services.
Services.
So he comes here and he meets me. And yeah, that's where my whole journey.
So at this point, he comes. You still had a visa.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I mean, how did you go from having a visa to then?
So I was at that point. At the point he actually came, my visa had expired. But luckily for me, at this point, I was very desperate. I was looking for a way out. I've spoken to a lot of people. They said they're going to do quali for me, normal papers, do a fake name, change my identity, do like Spanish identity for me, and then I'll just form EU citizen. And I was ready for that. But in that point, I knew that my son was going to come at a point. And if he comes, I'm using a different name. My son now has my name.
How's it going to work?
How's it going to work? So I started looking for other options. At first, I was just thinking about permanent residency or student visa or work permit or something. And I just started checking on my options. But I knew my mom was British. And I knew my sister was British. But my family people said, because I didn't apply before I was 18, then I've lost my opportunity. And, my sister said because I wasn't born here, that it might be tricky. The only reason why she got hers is because she was born here. So one day this is when I was desperate and I said I had to make a move. I reached out to an immigration lawyer and then I explained my situation. And it was all up to 5 minutes into the phone call. He just said, you're British. Huh?
That's simple.
Just, why haven't you got in your passport? I was like, what? I was like, okay, that's why I'm calling you to do it. And he was like, you don't need a lawyer. Go and apply for it. It's on the website. Go and pay for your passport and collect your passport. If you don't get it, then that's where I'll come in. That if you go and do it by yourself, it's like £80. But if I do it for it's like £750. Like, go and do it by yourself. And that's how I found out I was British. And that's how I got my passport.
You just applied and got your passport.
So yeah, even at that point, I didn't think I was going to get it. I didn't understand, like, I was British and I had applied just to get my passport. I thought it was like normal visa application. I thought they were going to come back and say you have been denied. So when my son was coming, that was very tricky as well because they would have deported him and they would have banned him from coming. God is good. And if they had deported him and banned him from coming, social services would have been waiting in America to take him. So they come, but his ticket is one way. And my in-law, my ex-wife's brother, is bringing him, and his ticket is to fly back the next day. So they stopped them. And
the brother-in-law is flying back the next day.
Next day,
your son had
one. So immediately they stopped them.
Why is he staying and he's leaving?
Who is this boy to you? Why is this thing? And then obviously he had to say something. So it's like, where's the mom? It's like, she's in a mental institute, and then, I'm coming to drop him with his dad. 6 a.m. in the morning. They called me. I didn't even know they had landed. They called me. I seen block number. I just, hello, this is Home Office, Immigration. We have your son here. I was on my knees, bro. I started speaking in tongues. We have your son here. We just want to ask you some questions. We hear he's coming to meet you. So, mind you, I'm on an expired visa. My passport, I've submitted it.
Hasn't come out.
So I don't even have any ID. So they say, your son, so he's coming to meet you. I was like, yeah. And then I'm just waking up from sleep, so I'm not even thinking properly. I would have just easily said, we are going back to America together. He just came to visit. He's one way because I'm going to buy his tickets, I was just like, yeah, he's coming to live with me here. Like, okay, so what's your name? What's your NI number? Hey, My NI. I don't even know what NI is. What are they even talking about? I don't have an NI. I said, so what's your name? Told them my name. They're like, your name is not in the system. That's when it dawned on me that, oh, it's trouble. And I said, okay, I just applied for my passport. I haven't got my passport. The lady kept quiet. And I said, okay, please hold on. I was on the phone for like 15 minutes. Bro, I think all prayers I need to pray for the next 50 years of my life, I did it in that 15 minutes. Just God, please, whatever it is I have to go through, just my son, just let him come and meet me. Because at this point, she had already left him for like a month.
In prison, whilst in prison.
So he was first with one of our friends, Rosalind, God bless you wherever you are. Then he was with, her brother wasn't around then, so he was in Dallas. So he had to come and pick him up from Houston. They took him, so he was with him and his girlfriend taking care of
You had me
him.
moving around, basically.
So I was already upset that see what's happening to my own son, like what's going on. And the way she left, she couldn't say goodbye. It was a baby. So he literally was just playing and she just left and she never came back. So, he came and then immediately I found out that, so the lady picked up the phone and then she was like, okay, we've checked your status and then indeed you are a citizen. Once your passport comes out, make sure you apply for your son or get him a permanent residence, if not, it will affect his status on the here and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I found out I was British for my son. And then he came and then we were staying at my sister's. Eventually we had to leave, it was just a 2-bed flat, we had to leave. And I was staying with my cousins. My cousin as well, he had his pregnant wife and his mom, 2-bed flat, had to leave. That's when we started our journey.
And how's fatherhood been for both of you since then?
It's been very intimate. It's been very tasking. It's been very overwhelming for me because it's just me and my son. I'm learning. It's not like I had a father that I looked up to. It's not like I had a mom.
You're a single father.
I'm just a guy that had a child. And I'm just learning how to raise a child, no mom, no support, no emotional support, no nothing, no mental, no financial support. I would say I'm trying, but
You are doing a good job.
I'm only just learning on the
I'm
job.
very proud of you.
Thank you. It's been very overwhelming because, I'm all he has. And, even when I'm sick, even when I'm tired, even when I'm not in the mood, whatever it is, I have to be there for him.
Is his mom in his life?
No, she's not.
Mm.
She's not. I would love to, I would honestly love to say otherwise, but the honest truth is that she's not. She has tried, but she's chosen herself.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since she came out, she's not the same person anymore. I think she's just been reminded of her freedom. And she's probably just like, you know what? Because she's about that life. And it has always worked for her because she comes from a broken system as well. So, like, with her body and all of that, she's probably tried to do a 9 to 5 and all of that. And she's saying that I'm not going to escape this. That's where all her money is. That's where all her relevance is. And she's probably just like, And I think just knowing she has a child makes her weak. I don't want to try and make any
assumptions
or just justify anything, but I think just knowing that he's comfortable with me or, I don't know, but she's just chosen herself.
Well, I will say I'm very proud of you. The last 4 years, I mean, you've had your son now almost 4 years as a single father in a new country, and you've kind of weathered the storms. And I,
thank God,
you are doing an amazing job. But my last question, again, before we end this, is: Are you happy in this moment?
No, I'm not. I'm at peace. I'm at peace knowing that through everything, all we are good. I'm at peace knowing that I'm with my son. My peace knowing that, future is bright. My peace knowing that, God has been faithful. My peace knowing that, somebody is going to come in.
Amen.
Good mother, first of all, for my son, and a good woman that would, rewrite my understanding of love. But I'll be very honest with you. You're my guy. I'm not happy.
Well, I hope that you are able to find the happiness that you seek. But I know that it comes from within, and I'm hoping that everything works out for you. But I just want to appreciate you for doing this with me. I appreciate you coming on this platform and just being vulnerable and being honest and open. Again, holding space for one another is something that's important as brothers, as friends, as men, and fathers that we are. So again, I just appreciate you coming on here. And thank you so much, my brother. I'm forever your ride or die.
My guy.
Yeah.
Of course. And I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
I wish you all the very best. Well done, bro. Thank you. And also thank you so much for being there for me. You're one friend that really, really surprised me out of the whole bunch. You left. You were the first friend to leave out of the bunch. And then, the ones I thought I had with me, they've not done anything. But you have really surpassed my understanding of friendship. You really inspired me in so many ways, and I love you, bro.
Yeah, I love you too. And the other friends that haven't come through, we're going to keep holding space for them. Everybody's time is different, and we're just ultimately going to help one another to be better and just grow, in the right way. Yeah. But on that note, we're going to end this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful episode with us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to Papa. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Love and light. Cheers.